All right. Thank you all for being here. It's me, Ari Dossett. Call me Rashid. I'm your anthropologist and sociologist. If you're Italian, come Emiliano. Thank you very much. Anyway, hit the like button, share this live stream, subscribe to the channel, become a member of the channel, donate the links below. Thank you very much. Book a session with me, a one-on-one consultation. Check the fees and instructions in the description box below. You can check my creative works, artists, in other words, my novels on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, wherever you can find them. And above all, I want you to pay close attention to this live stream, take notes, pray about it afterwards, and where this knowledge applies in your life, apply this knowledge to glorify Heavenly Father. Thank you. Now, before I continue, how are you all doing today? Let me know, please. How are you all doing today? Amen. God is good. Great. All right. I'm back. Now, in this live stream, I'm addressing a current scandal that's ongoing about the Epstein files. The name is pronounced Epstein originally because it's from Germanic origins, Epstein. But in English, they call it say Epstein. Okay. For example, Zuckerberg is pronounced Zuckerberg in English. So a lot of Germanic last names are pronounced in English. But I tend to use the Germanic pronunciation, which is more correct. But anyway, about the Epstein stuff. Jeffrey Epstein. I don't I'm not going to talk much about the man's life. I mean, you can look it up for yourself. I mean, it's been in the news a lot recently. Especially, there's a scandal with Donald Trump, was for the second time president of the United States. I don't know if his presidency will survive the scandal, but we'll see. For most of you, you'll be listening to this in the far future. So for you, it's already history what happened, what unfolded. I'm for me, it's still a mystery what may happen. Even though I have a prediction on how it may end up, it's just a prediction. But I want to explain the following to you. This Epstein, this Epstein situation is not what you think it is. People think, oh, it's a few billionaires who are so lustful, and they're hating women, and so these pedophile billionaires who are going after the children, and they had the whole client list, and they were molested children at various places, and all that, and now they're covering up because politics involved. Okay, okay. So a lot of these people with cash were molesting children. Okay, that's nothing new. It happens throughout human history. Go all the way back to ancient Greece, or even before that. You had wealthy men and also wealthy women taking advantage of children. Okay, who couldn't defend themselves or who couldn't just easily say no. So that's nothing new. All right. So why is the Epstein thing so dramatic for people? Again, it's not because of the content. Because the content, namely sexually taking advantage of minors, sexually taking advantage of children, that happens throughout human history. I don't. That doesn't mean it's okay because it happens throughout human history. It doesn't mean we should approve it or condone it or concede to it. Absolutely not. And there are also traffic rings that molest children in Asia, in Africa, in Latin America. Yeah, they're all over the world, Joe. But why is it that the Epstein thing really upsets people? And as an anthropologist, I'm going to say it directly right now. If you get upset with me, feel free to be upset with me. I'm just going to say it. The reason why the Epstein situation upsets people so much is because it exposes the defect of the population. That's why. Now think about it. Who has the world been looking up to for the past few centuries? Europeans, specifically Western Europeans. Okay, they had colonial empires. They shaped the world in a legal way. They dictated the world's policy. So, and a lot of people were grew up under a white supremacist education system. Okay, so a lot of people also grew up under a white supremacist education system. And here's the thing: all that colonial violence did not just stop. It lives forth in the descendants of both the victims and the perpetrators. So, long story short, worldwide, people were raised to look up to the quote unquote white men. There's no such thing as a white man, by the way, naturally. The term white people still means financially approved. It was a term that it came from it came from a poem from the early 1600s. It was used in theater plays in 1613, and in 1681 it became a political term in the English colonies for any settler that was financially approved by the English authorities. So white people, white men, white women still means someone who's financially approved to reside somewhere. This is all it means. However, 1685, you had King Louis XIV from France came with the black coats. That's where the term black people came from. Then you had this black first white thing that was developed. And that black versus white thing, it shaped a lot of events in history. It wasn't all determining, but it affected a lot. Worldwide, people got along with this black versus white thing, especially stigma on the term black people that originates not with France, with the black coast, but with the Dutch, with the term necker or nicker, which means swamp monster. That's where the English nigger comes from. They also called nixies. These were demons they worshipped in the Netherlands in ancient times. Actually, still do it up until now. So we got along with all of this. The swamp monster mythology that was projected on Prophet Judah. You also had all this colonialism, racism, whatever. Anyway, the world's been shaped to look up to. Uh, hold on. The world has been conditioned. By the way, can you all hear me clearly? My phone is bugged a little bit. But anyway, people have been raised to look up to the people from men from Western European descent. All right? Who have this pale complexion, who look like the Greek gods. That's what people raised to. And a lot of people, they won't admit this, but they've been idolizing this whiteness thing. This whiteness mythology, a lot of people have been idolizing it and they've been part of it mentally. I'm talking about people from Africa, people from Latin America, people from Asia, the Arab world, people worldwide, not everyone, of course, but worldwide, big portion of people, they believed in this whiteness mythology that was developed by the Dutch and English. They believed it. They went along with it. So eventually, people began to associate this whiteness with purity, wholeness, safety, civilization, stability, whatever. So, in this setting, where a big portion of the population idolizes people that look like that, it's going to be quite uncomfortable to admit that the public allowed men like that look like that to get away doing all these crimes. Because listen, if it was a bunch of people from India, or actually which is called Bharat, if there were a lot of people from India that would have been a trafficking ring, trafficking girls, molesting them, my God, it would have been exposed a long time ago. The files would have been released, and everyone would have gone after their relatives, even if you know there's not legal people would have done it, it would have been over. If we're a bunch of Chinese or Koreans who were doing things like this, oh my God, they would have been floored already. But how? Remember the case of P Diddy and the case of R Kelly. Weird how quick those cases went. Weird how quick it all soon all went, y'all. But now with the Epstein thing, it simply can't be completed. It's not because of the content, because the content is horrible. We know the content is horrible. Even though we didn't see the content, I don't even want to see the content because no, I don't want to see all the horrible stuff. But it's not because of the content. It's because of who allowed the content to happen, the public. That's really what goes on over here. It's about who allowed the content to even take place. If Donald Trump looked like me, or if Epstein looked like one of my relatives, were from the Caribbean, from African descent, I'm telling you all, there wouldn't be any years of delay for releasing any court documents or any files. They would have been leaked. They would have broken the law and leaked all of it. But because people idolize and worship men like Donald Trump, Epstein, Putin, and all those other people now. The reason I mention Putin is because he's also a type of image people idolize. I'm just using them as examples. I'm not saying Putin is directly involved with Epstein thing. Maybe he is, I don't know, because it appeared that Epstein had, at least it suggested based on the 20,000 files that have been released, that Epstein had connection with the Russians. If that's the case, then Vladimir Putin would have been involved too, but we don't know. I said it's suggested based on, because I downloaded all the 20,000 files been released recently. I downloaded all of them on my hard drive, so I have all of them. And I went through them also. I didn't went through all 20,000 of them, but my God, man, just these 20,000 alone are quite nasty, y'all. But anyway, people of European descent that are tyrants have been, hold on. Hold on, hold on. Hold on, can you all hear me? Okay, good. They have been idolized for a long time. Isn't it weird how Vladimir Putin got an international arrest warrant on him for crimes that Russia committed in Ukraine? But Benjamin Netanyahu and Yoav Golan also got an arrest warrant, and suddenly people are very reluctant to even execute it. Oh, so when a European tyrant kills European children, oh my God, get rid of him. It's horrible. So when a European descent quote unquote leader kills children of with a brown complexion, oh, we know what to do. Hey, I'm just being real over here. I'm not sugarcoating any of it. The only reason the Epstein situation, the only reason the Epstein situation continues so long is because of their ethnicity and the idolatry people had towards these people. That's fine. And it gets worse. Because once you think about this, is it only the rich and it's only the so-called rich and wealthy people in the world that are taking advantage of children? Are they the only ones having such scandals? Of course not. Of course not, y'all. Now, the only thing is that they have the cash to pay off people to either bail themselves out or to escape a prosecution. Now, I don't say they always succeed, but they have that option. While the regular people out there don't have that option. So the only difference is that these people have the financial leverage while they're doing their monsters acts. While the common individual out there doesn't have the financial leverage. That's the difference. So the common individual out there, they're more contained because A, they can easily get consequences hitting them. While those with the financial leverage have more options to escape consequences, at least on the short term. What I'm putting out there is the following. Do not be distracted by the Epstein situation. I don't say the Epstein situation is irrelevant. I mean, it should be all brought out in the open. It should be exposed and dealt with, and perpetrators have to go to prison. I agree with that. However, don't get carried away by the Epstein situation, y'all. Don't be carried away. Because if you get carried away by the Epstein situation, you are already deceived. And demons have gained leverage over you. Let me explain why. If you get carried away by the Epstein situation, now you are believing that the problem is solved. No. Let me tell you what goes on. That Epstein thing, let me tell you, it's just the tip of the iceberg. That's all it is. What do you mean with that, Rashid? It's just the tip of the iceberg. Let me explain. Common people out there have just as much scandals, or maybe even worse, than those rich billionaires. There's billionaires out there. The thing is, the billionaires have a lot of eyes on them from the public. And that's why eventually their crimes and the scandals will come out, and there's going to be pressure on them to either go to prison or to be deplatformed, whatever. But everyday common scandals out here do not have the same are not in the same context. For example, a lot of people think that it's only the rich criminals or the billionaires were worshiping Satan, all of that. By the way, not every billionaire worships Satan, but anyway, some people think it's only the secret societies, the cartels, the criminal gangs, that those are the ones who actually do assassinations. Those are the ones who kill people for knowing too much or for being a liability. Now, and it's true that secret societies, criminal cartels, criminal gangs, and satanic wealthy people, it's true that people like that do orchestrate assassinations. Well, let me tell you, most assassinations that happen throughout history, and that ever will happen in history, are not the result of top-down decisions. Most assassinations that happen come from public pressure from everyday people that want to escape. Now, I address cold cases on my YouTube channel. Cold cases that were known, a few that were less known. And I've already explained to you, a cold case is a scandal that the public wants to forget about. They don't want it to be solved. Because the moment the truth comes out about that scandal, a lot is going to be exposed about the public that people don't want to deal with. Okay. So a cold case is a scandal that the public wants to forget, because once the scandal is exposed to the full, the population will lose their reputation, credibility, and nobody wants to go to bed. And that's why people sabotage the police investigation for years or decades. And it's only sometimes after decades that finally a younger individual comes by, see through it, and they solve the case. And some cold cases are never solved, or some are solved even centuries later. But that's very rare. That's only deal with actual fanatics who want to look into stuff. But what I'm saying is that cold cases are proof that the public itself deletes people, they unalive people that doesn't facilitate their escape. But a lot of these conspiracy theorists and even mainstream media want you to believe that it's only the drug cartels, only the gangs, only the secret societies doing things like this, like that. And that's not true, y'all. That's absolutely not true. And right now, so many people are so obsessed with the Epstein files when it all to come out. They're even so obsessed that they want Donald Trump to go down too. And I don't blame him for being like that. But one thing I'm telling all these people, watch out. This obsession with the Epstein files is a trap, y'all. I'm not saying that if you want justice for the Epstein situation, that that's wrong. It's perfectly fine. Of course, the perpetrators will be involved in molesting those children, molesting those minors. Of course, they have to face prison time. Consequences must follow, and also restitution have to be paid. All of that I agree with. However, you can become obsessed with this Epstein situation, and if you get obsessed with it, you've missed the mark. You missed the whole point. These men and women were part of this Epstein scandal. Where did they come from? They were all born as little babies. They didn't come out of the womb as billionaires or as traffickers. No, they themselves chose the dark side as when they grew up. So that's on them. And even after they chose the dark side, they got assistance from society itself to become what they've become. Or better said, people make these people into what they are today. Y'all. I'm not saying that these perpetrators are victims that the public just made them into monsters. No, they became monsters because they chose the dark side. That's them. However, even if they chose the dark side, they could only go so far because the public facilitated them getting so far. All these villains out there are man-made, y'all. The people made Jeffrey Epstein. They made Donald Trump. They made all these other questionable people. They were it's these people because listen, even if someone is a horrible human being, that does automatically mean just because they're a horrible human being, they're not going to succeed in doing all the horrible stuff they're doing. No. People look the other way. People didn't ask the right questions. People didn't report them. People let things happen. That's what I'm telling you. Now, a while back, I saw an old documentary. I believe it was from the early 2000s somewhere. And I saw an old documentary about abuse in the Netherlands that happened at, okay, I'm trying to say it. There are children who need to be in facilities because their parents are messed up. Either they're on drugs or the parents are very violent and abusive or the alcoholic, whatever. So sometimes you have children that need to be in the foster system. Yes, you have this foster system in the Netherlands where they would put children in for a short time until they either go back home or need to be adopted by foster family. And when it came to boys, there was a big problem with boys being abused. But the thing is, people knew about it. The authorities were informed, but it still continued. People just looked the other way, like nothing was happening. And let me tell you, those boys that got abused, they're grown men now, maybe in their late 30s or 40s, or even, oh, I'm telling you, they're still around as damaged, broken men that the community has to deal with now. The community broke them when they were children, and now the community complains about them being damaged as grown men, which is quite pathetic. They're not pathetic. The public's pathetic. So, do you ever hear about these men? No. People act like they don't exist. As a matter of fact, a lot of people simply hope they die. A lot of people hope they commit suicide or they die by accidents or they're taken out. Why? Because as long as the victims are alive in a damaged state, the public has to deal with their damaged state and simply a reminder that the public is not trustworthy. People have to look at the parents and grandparents, us, mom, dad, grandpa, grandma. What was going on in your generation? People don't want to go through this. And let me tell you all, just like the Republicans were saying, man, the Epstein files will come out. When Trump wins again, and the files going to come out, we're going to stop this, we're going to go after the pedophiles, blah, 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 blah. And then suddenly, his second term came, oh, the Epstein thing is a hoax, a democratic hoax. It never existed. What? Here's the issue. Because there are so many victims because there were so many eyes on them worldwide, because it went viral on the internet. It was impossible for the US government now to say it never happened and people got along with it. But let me tell you, if there was no viral footage of this case, if people didn't talk about social media, if there was no mainstream exposure, the US government would have gotten away, act like it never happened. It's only because so many people knew about it and they wanted to keep their mouth shut online. That's why they couldn't get away with it. And eventually, 20,000 documents have been, 20,000 files have been released. They planned to hide all those 20,000 files like they never even existed. On top of those who have already been released, the actual files of the case themselves are not been released yet. But these 20,000 files being released right now, even those files they wanted to act like never existed. And it would have gotten away with it if there was no mass exposure. So understand the following. The Epstein thing is out there still because there was exposure about it. How many of such scandals get no exposure and the public acts like it never happened? How many? Some of you were watching this live stream now. You've been done dirty by the people around you. Not just your parents did you dirty. Also the people around you did you dirty, but not dealing with your parents or whatever. Some of you out there, the people did you dirty. But because there's no video footage of them doing you dirty, or because there are no eyewitnesses vouching for you, or because there was no viral documentation of what happened to you, that's why people act like you're the crazy one, or people act like it's not that bad what happened to you, or even act like you're the toxic one holding people back. You just shouldn't get over it and move on. But it's the issue. If you ever fail society, man, they put you in prison, they blacklist you, you're finished. But for some reason, they can fail you anytime, and it's okay. It's not that is narcissism. That's collective narcissism, y'all. I'm telling you, there are many scandals out there that the public keeps hidden on purpose, y'all. The reason why it's quite difficult now to keep scandals hidden is because of the internet. Before the internet existed, you go all the way back to 1970s, 1960s, and before the internet existed, it was quite easy for any society and any community to hide their scandals. But now that you have the internet, things can go viral anywhere on the earth. It's almost impossible to hide a scandal. And that's why so many things are coming out now. But understand this, if these things are coming out, that means that they were there all along. And they were there all along. That means that the people kept them there all along. Look, don't think you're so special that it couldn't happen to you. Listen, they went after Jesus, the Son of God. Who are you to think people won't come after you? The only advantage you have as a believer is the resurrection power of Christ that dwells in you that will give you the power to overcome anything that comes against you. That's your advantage. That does not mean that for the people will not make an attempt to come after you. If they went after Christ, then who are you? Listen, y'all. They planned to act like the Epstein thing never happened. So that's what people plan to do. But because it cannot happen and answers have to come, that's why you have a big fight going on right now. I'm telling you, a lot of these MAGA supporters really cared about the well-being of children. They do. But a lot of them also were in on the violence against children. They're just turning on Trump right now and whole MAGA movement because they don't look bad. I'm just keeping it real with y'all. Anyway, don't be distracted by MAGA and the Epstein thing. Look around you in your own life. Look around you in your neighborhood. Look at your own family. Look at your own family history. I'm guaranteeing you, man, you will find some odd situations nobody wants to talk about. Maybe there's an uncle in your family we haven't seen since you were a little child, and nobody talks about this uncle. And then you find out this uncle was serving a prison sentence abroad for murder or for molesting children or for whatever. And because his uncle was such an embarrassment, people don't talk about it for how he ended up. Especially when you realize you don't admit it. So people were aware this uncle was doing all this crap, but they didn't do anything to stop it. So that could be the case. But it could be that suddenly you find out that let's say your father passes away, the funeral's over, and they have all these people probably saying that they're your half sister, half brother. Now you find out your dad has so many affairs. And worse, now you find out your dad had the whole family before he met your mom, and he abandoned his first family to be with your mom. And what I'm saying is, look, if you would investigate the lives of your parents, grandparents, uncles, aunties, grand uncles, all that, or if you would just investigate the history of your neighborhood only, you will find maybe one or two. It doesn't have to be big, big, enormous stuff like an Epstein situation, but let me tell you, you will find some oddities that can't be explained. It's not just the rich and powerful at the top with high ranks. It's a worldwide thing, you all. People want to escape. They don't want to deal with stuff. And they don't want to be called out for being cowards, especially on that. So if you've been the victim that was let down by society, I'm telling you, if you don't have people protecting you, or if you don't serve down the father for protection, the public will find some type of way to delete you. Either they go legal on you, try to frame you for a crime to put you in prison, or they will go fiscal on you, they will actually take your life. But hey, nobody wants to do that themselves, so they will go criminal, look for criminals to do it for them. Or as last resort, some people go paranormal on you, to do spells on you to get you to crash at the time of accidents or whatever, y'all. I'm telling you, if you are the one that was let down by society, I'm telling you all, people are going to be more upset with you than with the people that victimize you. Why? Because the fact there were people able to even victimize means that the community was either too late or the community didn't do their part. That means that the community failed you. And now the community owes you some type of reparation. And that means that people who weren't involved in the neglect also have to comply. I'm telling you, the world hates victims more than hate the perpetrators. The only time you turn on the perpetrators is when the public neglect is in your face. I'm telling you, if the public was able to ignore the Epstein situation and act like it never existed, they would have thrown all the victims under the bus. But now this in everyone's face, the culpability and the embarrassment of the public neglect is so in everyone's face, it makes them feel uncomfortable, and that's why they now get upset with the perpetrators. I'm not saying that there aren't people out there upset with perpetrators and supporting the victims. Throughout human history, you had people that supported the victims and want justice on the perpetrators. But that's not the norm. That's not mainstream. And I just bring it down to you. There are people out there who want justice. But most people in the world just want relief. They want to escape. And they don't care how guilty someone is, as long as they can go around do the daily business. That's all that matters to them. That's why there's so many victims out there that never speak out what happened to them. Because they know either people are going to minimize what happened to them, or people are going to attempt to blame them for it, or people are going to just attack them, saying, leave me alone, come here, put that source over, I'm going to deal with this. That's just the harsh reality out there, y'all. The world in general wants to escape and be left alone. They want to do their daily business without being called out on anything. They only take a case seriously if it disrupts the daily ease of the public, y'all. There are many, many more child molesters out there that will never face prison time and will never be called out during his lifetime. I'm sorry to say, but a lot of child molesters that will never face consequence in his lifetime. They'll be bailed out by the public because the public doesn't want to deal with the fact they allowed these people to get away with it, and then allow these people to have an opportunity to do this. They don't have to look at the victims and apologize to the victims, y'all. And they don't want. And thing is, apology means that you improve. Apology is just say I'm sorry. Apology means, you know what? I'm not this horrible human being anymore. I'm better now. I'm more trustworthy. I'm a safe human being now. Do people want to face themselves, look within, face the darkness, and process things and become better human beings? Do people want to do that? There are people who don't want to do that. Praise them. Praise people like that. Praise people like that they want to be better. We should have more people like that on the earth. I'm not saying to praise them like you would praise Heavenly Father. I'm just saying praise people like that. They want to be better. But is that the normal human species? No. Most people will fake like they want to improve, just a virtue signaling, but they just want to escape, man. I'm telling you. Until the day Jesus Christ comes back, that is the sad state of affairs of mankind, y'all. Generation after generation, people want to escape. So I'm telling you, if they were able to act like the Epstein thing never happened, we would have done it gladly. But because they can't do that, and anyone who acts like that, it looks stupid. That's why, because people don't want to deal with the consequence of looking stupid, and they want to deal with the embarrassment of the people around them being so cowardly. That's why they're raging right now, and they want the perpetrators to go down. It's a good thing they want the perpetrators to go down, but they don't want to come down from a place of justice. They want to come down from a place of self-preservation. So do not be distracted by the Epstein situation. Again, it's good that you want justice. I want the justice to be done. However, justice also means that people have to improve and become safer and better human beings. People have to become better and safe to be around. If people were bad and safe to be around, creeps like Epstein wouldn't even have the opportunity to do whatever they were doing. They wouldn't even have dared to do all of that. These psychos and these perverts only become active where they know they can get away with it, where they know they have the leverage. And who grants that leverage? The people do. Not everyone does, but the people in general do. And that's the thing that's in everyone's face now. Why did we let this happen? I'm telling you, after, I don't know, I still don't know for sure if they're ever going to release those Epstein files. Likely they will right now, because even Donald Trump called on the Republicans to vote for it to be released, but Trump released them anyway. Why is he doing it? But anyway, we're not going to be distracted by this political drama. Know the fact that scandals are a portion of fallen mankind. As a matter of fact, some of you, before you became believers, you were part of cover-ups also. Maybe you weren't aware of it, you were part of cover-ups also. You looked the other way too. But now you're a better and safe human being to be around. Now you're doing the will of Heavenly Father. I'm glad with that. Listen, as believers, we don't seek to destroy people. We don't seek to cause harm. We're not avengers going out there going crazy, destroying the bad guys. That's not us. We want solutions for the long term. We want people to be balanced and safe. This is what we want as believers. However, those who wrote on that, to hell no. So listen, I want you to look in your own life, look at those around you, and listen, if you notice things that don't add up with things that are odd, don't freak out, don't creep out. Does automatically mean there's a big conspiracy going on there? For absolutely not. Don't be paranoid, but just know when you notice oddities or things that cannot be justified or explained, Document and know that, okay, there may be a bigger scandal behind this. Maybe not. But know what you're dealing with. Don't just blindly engage people based on the benefit of the doubt. And that's the thing. The benefit of the doubt. What is the benefit? What is the benefit of the doubt? The benefit of the doubt is when you grant someone a favorable judgment without any proof for it. Okay, let me say it like this. Let me explain this better for you in simpler terms. The benefit of the doubt is when you grant a favorable judgment on someone, even when there's evidence that the individual might be questionable. If there's no evidence that the individual might be questionable and give a favorable judgment, there's nothing wrong with that. However, there's evidence that he may be questionable, they have to investigate what you're dealing with. But are people in the world doing this? No. People in the world don't want to investigate these type of things, man, because they don't want to deal with what they will encounter. So they will say, well, the guy does have weird friends around him, but he's the president of the United States, so he knows, he's doing what's best. So this just this benefit of the doubt. And let me tell you, when you operate in the benefit of the doubt, you're still operating in doubt. That means you still are risking. No, not real risk, you're gambling with your well-being and well-being of others. Nowhere in the Bible, nowhere in scripture are we commanded to have the benefit of the doubt at all. Listen, I'm not telling you to be a detective and go after everyone around you. No, absolutely not. I'm not telling you to be obsessed now with check everyone's past on that. Hell no. What I'm telling you is, listen, scandals are a symptom of fallen mankind. They will continue until Christ comes back. And most scandals are not done by the so-called rich and powerful. They're done by everyday people who want to escape. And everyday people who want to escape are more unstable than these toxic rich people that are doing all this weird stuff. So don't be distracted by the P. Diddy's. Don't be distracted by the Epsteins. Don't be distracted by these type of people, yo. You have worse than Diddy. You have worse than Epstein walking out there. But the thing is, they just never had opportunity to do all their nastiness. You have worse people than Epstein out there. You have worse people out there than Ted Bundy, and those other people were caught. Too often we fixate on those who were caught, and we vilify those who have been caught. What about those who were never caught? Or what about those who never had the opportunity to act out their nastiness? Just because they didn't act out their nastiness doesn't mean they're not nasty. It just means they never had the opportunity. But it means that if they had the opportunity, they would have more damage. So, what do you do with this as a believer? You stay calm, you remain at peace, you remain in a state of joy, worshiping the Heavenly Father, and you are realistic when you're dealing with other people. And that's what a lot of people don't do, y'all. Again, I'm at the end of this live stream right now. Just remember, it's okay that you want justice in the Epstein situation concerning all the victims and perpetrators, all of that. Just know that there's worse than Epstein walking out there. Your next door neighbor could be someone that's confident for a trafficking ring, or the elderly lady at the supermarket that came to buy some groceries. She could have been a satanic witch throughout her life that set up a lot of people to die. And now the only thing she's an elderly lady with wrinkles buying some soup. Oh, it's such a lovely elderly lady. No, she's a damn reprobate, but because she's old now and tired and exhausted, she can't get away anymore being this horrible witch she always was. What I'm saying is that the scandals all around you. I'm not telling you to go and look for scandals. No, I'm just telling you scandals all around you. Just know that the only reason why you as a believer are not the victim of these scandals is because you walk the resurrection power of Christ. If you as a believer, if you don't operate in the resurrection power of Christ, then I'm telling you, you'll be the next victim. You'll be the next target. Simple as that. And look, there are good quality people out there. There are people of quality out there on the earth. Actually, you have met them on the earth. Just know a lot of these people of quality are sabotaged and hindered by the rest of the population. So a lot of these people of quality can't do much for you because they're sabotaged and endangered themselves. So stop giving the public too much credit. I'm telling you, man, if they can escape, they'll do it. If they could silence the victims, they would do it. If they could whitewash the perpetrators, they would easily do it. Act like nothing happened to you. So your justice comes from the Heavenly Father. So look up to Him for solution in your life. Don't put your trust in your fellow human beings. Trust God in all your ways and lean not on your own understanding, y'all. Are there any questions on this topic? Let me know in the live chat, please. Let me know. Are there any questions? God is good. I can walk in love towards everyone, but you can't walk in love with everyone, y'all. You owe to walk in love towards everyone, but you don't owe to walk with everyone. Let me repeat one more time. You owe to walk in love towards everyone, but you're not in obligation to walk in love with everyone. You're in obligation to walk in love towards everyone. That's true. But you're not obliged to walk in love with everyone because not everyone is safe to walk with. As a matter of fact, you're not even allowed with Heavenly Father to walk in love with someone who's not safe. All right? Now, thank you all for being here. Again, don't let this Epstein situation distract you. Remain alert. And for those who have been here, please help me out. Donate the links below. Thank you very much. And I'll see you in the next live stream. God is good.